There we are. And on YouTube, well, I see a meeting here. Yeah, okay. It seems to be live. Anyway, let's get going. As a starter, maybe let's just quickly go through the changes you or we did the past couple of
Yep.
days. First up, this one, like I was playing around with dot files a bit on Sunday and
Mhm.
realized if you set the context option for the install script, we don't chmod the file, so you
Yeah.
can't install it as a user.
Yes.
Anyway, and we clone it into the home there now. I think that broke when we changed the SSH server to not necessarily be on starting on the home
Yeah.
there.
The work there.
And
Yeah.
that's why we need to do it explicitly now.
Cool.
Then this one, your first UI
First
contribution. It's fantastic.
TypeScript PR.
Yeah. But what this adds is nice. You even included a screenshot. Better than my PRs for sure. Get this additional flags that you can set, and these will be appended to the up command, if I saw it correctly, right?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Nice. So everybody who is missing a UI implementation for some feature, they can just add it here.
Yep.
That's fantastic. Then Recreate for drivers is open. We're talking about this. This is just for context, mostly a change for custom drivers. The only custom driver we have right now is the Kubernetes driver, and this implements a recreate mechanism for these for the dev container JSON. Hasn't been possible so far. It's with this PR. And then this one, maybe you want to
Yeah.
talk about.
Mainly is before we were really spamming the terminal and the by reflection also the application log with all the downloading layer progress from Docker. So we just moved it to the debug level. To do that, we had to put the pull in a separate step instead of relying on Docker run automatically pull when we do
Yeah,
stuff.
makes sense.
This gives us the freedom to have two separate the output level for the pull and the run. Yeah, and we just inspect the image. If it's not there, we pull.
Yeah,
So,
definitely worthwhile. If you ask me, that makes this output is so much nicer, and you
yeah,
don't need to
yeah.
care. Yeah,
Thanks
so
to
that's great.
Adi for
Yeah,
putting that
right.
out.
Shout out to Adi Ron. Such a cool
Adi
name,
on.
to be honest. Like 3-letter first name and last name. That's okay, then for our first, we looked at that already. The SSH terminal rendering
Yeah,
issue. You
yeah, yeah.
briefly got back to them. I haven't checked it out yet myself.
I had this problem before on
Hmm.
another software,
Okay.
um, always container related. It was when I didn't correctly instantiate a TTY for the
Okay.
session. So it will report maybe that you have a TTY, but it's not actually instantiated. And you can see it in DevPTS. The number should increase
Mhm.
every time you open a shell.
Mhm.
You have like 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, because it's like a virtual terminal, pseudo terminal session, PTS.
Mhm.
Um, if that's not correctly instantiated, then you don't have anything to correctly handle signals. And for example, Control C will kill your shell instead of the handling
Yeah.
it. So that's probably something related to that. It's a bit strange that this happened because I use DevPod only on shell like regularly, and
But do you
even
have tmux in the dev container as well? Usually.
uh, no, that's
Yeah.
one thing. I usually have my Tmax and then
Right. Because I started doing this as well in my dot files to just install tmux in the dev container,
mhm.
and then go from there. Will I also want to test this out because I saw a comment in the um, SSH library here for the
Okay.
PTY, where the guy we forked it from um, left a help wanted. Yeah, maybe it's something
Yeah,
we need to look
it's
into.
very complicated. I was doing a little side project with a friend of mine where we have this uh, way of executing remote commands via
Hmm.
socket.
Hmm.
And then you have to actually implement something like this where you have a PTY and then it's forwarded
Hmm.
resizing signals.
Hmm.
It's very, very black magic. So
Yeah, it
yeah,
like I don't know anything about how this works.
and it's difficult
So
to find resources about this. So
yeah, I can
hopefully this
imagine.
bug is just a fluke.
Hopefully,
Hopefully,
but I want to repro it myself
yeah.
and have a look.
Also because you are on Mac,
Yes,
it's
exactly.
probable that there is something to do with DevPod desktop. Sorry, Docker desktop doing certain
Maybe
stuff.
it's
I don't know.
also the terminal emulator that they're using because I, for example, I'm using Electrity and I also have to install term info in every new
Mm.
dev container.
Okay.
Otherwise, Electrity doesn't play nice
I
with
use
the
GNOME
dev container.
terminal, whatever the default is, so I don't really care.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe like maybe we gotta get back to them and ask about this. But I'm
Yeah.
gonna try with Electrity as well. As well, maybe it's something wrong there. Next up, this issue: SSH forwarding, agent forwarding on
Yeah,
Windows.
yeah. Uh, Still investigating it. Need a fresh
Okay.
install of Windows because
Yeah.
on my installation works. Both this and the next issue about Windows, the one for VS Code timing timing out. So I suspect there is something in the configs that I did. I don't know.
Do you know which IDE? Because I can't see it here. Which IDE they're using?
Uh, no, the other issue was with VS Code.
Okay. Okay. Because one thing that came up yesterday is some people in user Slack they cloned via SSH and opened via VS Code browser, and
Mhm.
agent forwarding doesn't work there.
It's intended. There
Yeah,
is
it
this.
makes sense. It makes sense that it doesn't work there. It's just something that's like
No,
if you
it's
hit
just something that we need to probably make a little bit more clear, or in the
exactly,
UI or in the
exactly.
CLI. I don't know how to make it more clear. When we use web-based
Yeah,
IDEs,
you- yeah,
we either we purposefully keep the connection open, like we don't return, we keep it open,
yeah.
and then the forwarding works, or we need to kindly ask the user to open a new SSH connection so that all the forwardings are done. I'm more on the, I would lean more on keeping the connection open. Like if I do DevPod app dash dash IDE open VS Code, it will do the app and then it will keep it there. It
Mhm. I
won't
mean,
return.
we're keeping the process for
Yeah,
the
we just do
IDE open
another,
anyway. We just need another Go routine that keeps the
yeah, another routine that just does the
yeah
DevPod
yeah we
SSH in the
yeah
background.
we should probably fix it some because like it was non-trivial for them because I told them, yeah, I mean, use credentials forwarding and clone via HTTPS, and it works out of the box. But they had a instead of statement in their Git config where they redirected all HTTPS based clones or
To
all
get,
HTTPS
yeah,
based traffic to the
SSH.
SSH one. So it was like not even if they were to put in the HTTPS source, it would have been cloned
Yeah, yeah.
via SSH. So yeah, let's just fix it
It's an
for web IDE.
usability improvement that we
Yeah,
need to.
yeah. I'm gonna open up an issue later, and then we can
Yeah.
fix that. Okay. And do you think this is unrelated to it, or maybe ask them if they're using VS Code browser?
Uh, for this one, I have
Hmm.
no idea. Uh, let's ask them. Yeah, because I don't think they have actually said what they're using.
Yep. Somebody is in the chat. I just saw that. Who's in the chat?
Yo, hello, Alessio.
Oh, that's your buddy?
Yeah, it's my buddy.
Then welcome. Okay. Where did we leave off? All right, the Hetzner issue.
Yeah, I'm waiting for
Yep.
feedback from the user.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, they either maybe on our side, what we can do is not hardly depend on this, OSX credential thing.
I mean, this is the same problem as with Git credentials. If you have a system that doesn't have the credentials helper set up, then it's not going to work. But like,
What we can do?
exactly, it's like we can maybe we can make it more visible to you.
One
Or
thing I was
checking in advance and
I
failing
was
early.
wondering is if exactly, we can do some pre-checks,
Yeah,
so we fail earlier and with a better message, so that, I don't know, it's still an usability improvement more than a bug on our side, I think.
yeah.
But let's see what the user comes out.
Yeah, maybe we
comes
can
back
take this
with.
ticket as an opportunity to improve that in the
Yeah.
future. Yeah, but again, it's not as high of a priority for me because I do expect most people with normal setups to have
Yeah.
both the Git credentials helper and the Docker credentials helper. So, all right, this log one. Yeah, still have to do it. I didn't get to it. To be honest, also one of these lower prio problems for me that I do when I have the time.
It's just to add an entry in the meatball menu, right?
Exactly.
I can try.
Ooh. Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one I'm still trying to reproduce. I wasn't able to so far. I need to check. Like from the start, there have been occasional uses where this happened, but I couldn't figure out what exactly it was that caused it for them because I tried to repro it on my machine with a restricted user and it didn't.
Okay.
Like I didn't see this problem. So yeah.
Don't know
I'm
much
just gonna
about
keep the
Mac
ticket
OS.
open. Hope other people
Yeah.
could chime in here and give more detailed steps. Let's see. Then this one is about, right? This can be closed. This is about
Which one?
pre-builds, the right way to build a workspace. Because previously, you remember how the Kubernetes driver
Yeah.
had this. Yeah. Let's close this up.
Yeah, I have some suspects, so I'm waiting from feedback from the user. But I don't know if it's a DevPod thing or a provider thing, but we probably are not passing all the environment variables, which are, the configuration of the workspace, when we do DevPod machine instead of DevPod app, and then the DevPod app does the machine.
Okay.
So there is probably something missing.
This is very, very likely, to be honest.
Yeah. Also because it's, to be honest, one of the, let's put some quotes, hidden comments. Like, you are supposed to do DevPod app, not DevPod machine stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, if we expose it, we need it to make it work. So
that's true, and brings me on the topic of why do we expose it?
to be honest, I will probably speak with Fabian about this, because it was from the start already exposed.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if we really create, I don't know, maybe machine delete and machine SSH as a
yeah, I think
emergency button for something. Yes, but create, it's really something that we shouldn't.
Yeah. And also
expose.
stop. I would also remove stop. Like I would keep delete list SSH and start,
Yeah,
or maybe even remove start because you're also not expected to
yeah,
touch that.
exactly. I would say just keep the emergency latches for, I don't
Yeah,
know, my machine is acting up. How do I enter it?
yeah, yeah.
DevPod
Delete
machine
list
SSH.
SSH should probably be enough.
Yeah,
But yeah, maybe you can ask Fabian why he made it public in the first place.
yeah, yeah. Cool.
Um,
And
okay.
let's wait for the user. Maybe
Yeah, of
if
course.
the app works for them, I will mark that as a solution.
Of course. Let's get back to this in a minute because Show you provided some designs for this that I want to share with you.
Mm.
And then blah 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 blah. Never mind.
January 25, I think we can
Do you want to
like
close it?
ping the user again, and if they don't reply in, I don't know, a week.
At CodeGod100.
Any news?
Or am I going to close it right now because then they're going to be notified for sure and going to come back.
Okay.
If it's important to them, they're going to open it up again. Okay, and this one I kind of fixed, but
Okay.
the problem for them is that they're using Arch, and apparently Arch, and depending on Linux distro, I read briefly into it, the temp folder is going to be
Yeah.
removed
Temp.
like either on a schedule or in when you
Yeah,
reboot stuff like this.
it's on it's standard on Linux to have some directories like /run, var temp, and temp to be tempfs. They are run disks actually.
Yeah.
So every reboot, it will be completely wiped out. So we
Yeah.
shouldn't store anything.
Two thoughts
Value
from
there.
my side on this. A, if it's distro dependent, which it seems to be.
I
Like,
think the only exception is Debian, which is not
okay,
mounting temp as a tempfs, but the
okay,
standard is actually to have tempfs. I mean, if
okay.
it's called temp, it's temporary.
It's fair, and that was my second thought. I think this is a very Docker Compose specific problem because we need to reapply these configurations to reconfigure the build files after a stop. And for this, I would actually copy them over to the workspace folder so that we can do that instead of leaving them in temp.
Or we can move it to a proper directory like var lib devpod.
Yes and no, because then we need to remember to clean it up manually. If we have it in the workspace folder, it's going to be deleted together with the workspace.
Okay. Workspace might be hidden there or something like that. Yeah.
Maybe we need some folder in there like
Or in the
dot.
VS Code home, the user home in the container, something like that.
It's on the host.
It's on the host.
These files are on the host, yeah.
Okay.
That's why I want to put them into the workspace directory and then, maybe like you say, dot build output or something like this so we can reapply it after it's being built.
Yep. Thanks, Julio.
Thank you. And welcome to the live stream. Great. That's it for this ticket. I think I'm going to reopen it and comment on this. What do we want to call it?
Dot compose.
Yeah. Great. And then let me share Figma real quick.
Yeah.
Where do I do this? Stop sharing and present again. Okay. And in the future, it's probably going to look something like this. So this is this was annoying for me as well. If I have too many workspaces, I can't find shit anymore. So you can filter by status, you can filter by providers, and you can sort it based on a couple of things like probably creation
Makes
and
sense.
access time. Then we get a bunch of
Selector. Yep.
selector batch actions that are over here. Not too sure about batch start and stop. I don't think I'm going to do that. This sounds like maybe batch stop, but batch start is definitely like yeah.
I mean, it should work. If it doesn't, it's probably a bug
Yes,
on our
it
side.
it should work technically,
Yeah,
but it's
exactly.
also don't see a reason for it. So that's
Nice.
that. I
Very
think
nice.
that's already a major improvement. And one thing I also wanted to do is maybe if still somebody is in the live stream, I wanted to get rid of the open image graph. How do you call this? OG image? Whatever. I want to get rid of the
Yeah.
images because most repositories don't use it.
Yeah.
And it just takes up so much space.
It's just wasted space, I think.
Yeah, we can make it a little more dense. I mean, in the beginning, it looked kind of cool because in our demos, we had this vCluster repo and DevPod repo, and we do have the images for them, but nobody really seems to use it. So let's just
At
omit it if
most,
you're fine
what I
with
will do is replace it with a smaller square where like an avatar square,
it. Yeah,
and then
yeah,
just put there the organization icon, which usually they have,
yeah,
or
that's true.
the user avatar,
Yeah,
which usually they have. Sometimes they don't, but I mean it's very vast minority at that point. So maybe it's
yeah,
a more intelligent use of the space. Maybe we can at that point implement also a two-column view.
yeah, maybe. Or like a list
Tablet
and a
friendly.
card view switcher or something like this.
Yeah, something like that.
But this
A grid
definitely
view generally. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. This screen definitely needs an overhaul. It was nice in the beginning when you don't have that many workspaces, but
Yeah. No,
it's time.
I
It's time
think
to change it
the
up.
grid view will also be beneficial for the information density, so that if you have many works, like in this view we have 3 workspaces, they
Yeah,
can easily be 9,
right,
right?
right, exactly. And we compress the rows, so that's going to be
Yeah.
fine as well. Anything else we need to talk about in the open source meeting from your
I
side?
don't think so.
Perfect. Then that's a wrap on the first live stream. Thanks for Alessio and Julio to give us a quick shout out, and hope you have a nice day.
Have a good day. Bye bye.
Bye.